Hello, hello, hello. It's that time of the week again, isn't it? You know what to do. Grab a cuppa, pull up a chair, and welcome to this week's video. You'll have to excuse cars going past and noises like that because I'm filming with my window open, because we're currently having a heat wave in the UK, and if I close it, my room will turn into a sauna and I will just physically melt, and no one wants that. So this week I'm going to be talking about something that I got asked a lot of questions on when I did my Q&A a couple of weeks ago and thought deserved its own video. So I'm going to be talking about my journey from childhood, from the beginning of Matilda time up to getting my LSMT place, and the sort of training that I had and the decisions I made and things like that. So hopefully it can help you out if you're looking at going to drama school, give you some tips of things to look at and like some areas that you might want extra training in and stuff like that. So let's begin. I was one of those kids whose mum put them in ballet at age 3. Went along to mums and tots, learned how to do good toes, bad toes. I did ballet and tap. I really remember doing, oh gosh, tea on the windowsill. Good toes, bad toes, and also like splashing paint with your hands and running around and pretending to be a fairy. And one of my favourite memories, my mum will not enjoy this. My mum was not very good at doing my hair growing up at all. I had the longest hair ever and my hair is really thick, like so thick. And she really struggled putting it in a bun for my ballet exams. And I remember my very first exam, skipping around in a circle, pretending to be a princess or something, and it all just came tumbling out onto the floor, and my teacher, Miss Nick, had to like sneak around the back and just pick up all our hairpins and things that were falling out. I just carried on. The show must go on, you know, so that none of the other kids slipped over on them. And I'll always remember that, and I hope, Miss Nick, you remember that too. My mum was probably mortified at it. I don't think she ever did my hair again. I think we always got someone else to do it from that point onwards. So yeah, I danced from a very young age. I started ballet and tap. I then moved on to things like jazz and theatre craft, and did a bit of contemporary, stuff like that, freestyle. I trained at Sal Dance Theatre Arts, which is just like a local school to me. If you're in the Peterborough, Cambridgeshire area, they are exceptional. The teachers are brilliant, so highly qualified. Miss Nick, our principal, is now also an examiner. Absolutely brilliant. I love my time there. I was there from the ages of 3 to 19 when I then left to go to uni. They were literally like second mums to me. I hope you're all watching this, guys. But yeah, I cannot recommend Sal Dance enough if you're in that area. It was also a very, not necessarily a low pressure environment, because there was a pressure to do well, but the teaching just seemed to work really well for me, that it was so fun, but also they wanted you to work hard. It just worked really well for me. And honestly, I do not think I would have got into the drama schools that I did if I hadn't had that like really solid dance foundation. So thanks, Sal Dance. Appreciate it, lads. So as well as Sal Dance, when I was younger, I did after school drama clubs and like Saturday morning drama clubs and stuff like that. And I did those with Kindred Drama, who again, still a company now, brilliant, cannot recommend them enough. I also did their summer schools, which where you go and do like a week intensive and put on a show at the end. And again, local to Peterborough, brilliant. I loved it growing up there, had a great time with Kindred, and they now do adult things. My mum's like part of their choir and stuff, which is really fun now. So I get to go back and watch her, which is kind of odd. But yeah, it's a nice little round circle. I went to, I guess it was a performing arts specialism school for secondary, but it wasn't like a Sylvia Young or anything like that. We just did dance and drama as part of the curriculum, but it wasn't even like we were doing like ballet as part of the curriculum. It was more about getting kids to be like creative with their bodies and playing drama games and stuff like that. It was very much just normal drama and dance that you would expect to see in any kind of secondary school, except we had, I guess, a little bit more money thrown into like our theatre and stuff, and we did school shows and we had like big sets built and things. But even the school shows, they were all open ensemble. That means that if you auditioned, you got in, because obviously the school wanted as many people as possible to be involved, to have the experience of doing a school musical. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing school musicals. Me and my friends all did them together and we really enjoyed it. I also did dance and drama GCSE there. I had that option, and an extra performing arts one as well. So I did dance and drama GCSE and then performing arts BTEC after school as an extra 13th class for me. I think that was what, yeah, I did a lot of GCSEs. That is me up until about age 16. So this is the first big girl thing for me. When I was 16, I auditioned for, at the time, it was called Youth Music Theatre UK. It's now changed its name to British Youth Music Theatre. Oh my gosh, getting my place on their summer schools changed me. I had the best time. So I did 4 projects with them, and if you audition and you're successful and you are offered a place, you go on 2 or 3 week courses over the summer holidays. Some of them you'll be given a script and you'll put the show on with the script, or you'll create a show from scratch. So I did 2 that were scripted and 2 that were creating the show from scratch. The first one I did was a show called Misinterpreted when I was 16. It was an all-female show set around a beauty pageant with the amazing Ellie Jones directing us. It was all about like female empowerment and like women in the workforce and how women are treated, and just it was brilliant. And I met some of the most amazing girls there, people who've become lifelong friends. It was such a brilliant experience, learning how to put a show together. We were like writing lyrics for songs and like brainstorming ideas for scenes, and like, it was just so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And you stay away, it's a residential course, 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whichever one you're on. And I just had the best time. That was actually the first time I went to Leeds, because my course was based in Pudsey, which is just outside of Leeds. And when I got to uni there, like 5 years later, I was there like, oh, this is a bit round circle, isn't it? Because that's basically what I ended up doing in my degree as well. I also had the incredible opportunity to go to the Edinburgh Fringe with them. So I was in the 2015 production of Macbeth at the Fringe. So I was brought in the second year of the show. So my first year was Misinterpreted, and Macbeth was happening, I think, in Ireland somewhere with a cast. They decided they liked that cast and they wanted to take it to the Fringe the next year, but obviously some people couldn't come back for whatever reason. So when I re-auditioned, I was offered a place, essentially replacing the people who couldn't come back. So I went up to Edinburgh. I learnt the show in about 3 days. I was just in the ensemble, and then I spent 2.5 weeks performing it at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I had the most incredible time. Again, residential course. My parents came up and spent a week at the Fringe as well. It was the first time I had been. It's the longest show run that I've actually ever done. I was 17 at the time, and I learnt so much. It was so much fun. And again, people on that show I'm still friends with now. I keep bumping into people in London who are now professional. Like, oh my gosh, we were together when we were all at the Fringe, when we were like children, essentially. We were all like sort of between the ages of 16 to 20, I think the oldest person was in our course. Yeah. I've also performed at the Aberdeen International Youth Festival with YMT. That was the year after. And then in my final year, I was in a wonderful show called A Teenage Opera, which was directed by Julie Atherton, who is someone who I've now worked with in a performance class at LSMT. So honestly, they just are so good at getting industry professionals in. Everything comes round full circle. If you can get to a YMT audition and you can get onto it, if you're successful in that audition, do it. Oh my gosh, it gave me so much confidence, so much knowledge, so many connections in the industry. A few of my YMT directors wrote my references for university for me. It's brilliant. I had the best 4 summers. I had the best 4 summers to the point where in between my first and second year of university, I was then too old to do the course, and I was really jealous of everyone who was getting to do it. So I went back and chaperoned. I worked chaperoning on 2 courses that summer, just so I could feel like I was still part of YMT. Is that a little bit sad? I think that's a little bit sad, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Another note on YMT, I might do a whole video on my YMT experience and just go into like detail about the audition and things like that. But in terms of funding, the first year I got on, I didn't apply to YMT for funding, but I wrote a letter to my school. My secondary school was part of the Ormiston Academies Trust, and I got a chunk of money as a grant to help me pay for the course. And then the next 3 years, I believe, I applied to YMT itself and managed to get some money off my course on their bursary scheme. If you get on, it's worth pursuing those kind of options and seeing if there's anyone around who can help you out, because they are expensive courses. I think my first one was maybe just over £1,000. It was like 1,200 for 2 weeks. The fringe one was about 1,700, which was 3 weeks long. I can't remember how much the others were, but they're sort of roughly 1.5 for 2-3 weeks. They are really worth it, but if you can get a little bit of money off, get on the bursary scheme, get to your school or to your local council, and if you can get some sort of funding for it, obviously that always helps. Around YMT age, I think I was 16, about to turn 17, I auditioned for my local operatic society. You probably hear the word operatic and think, oh my gosh, she's an opera singer. I'm not in any way, shape or form. A lot of local musical theatre, amateur dramatic societies are called operatic and dramatic societies. So for example, I was part of PODS, which is Peterborough Operatic and Dramatic Society. So if you're looking for things like that, literally just Google wherever you are, I don't know, Aberdeen Operatic and Dramatic Society, and things like that will pop up for you. PODS was it was amateur, like no one was paid, but it was very high up. Our shows were like big scale, people thought we were a professional company, like it was sick. I did 3 shows with them. So I did 2 in sixth form and 1 in my gap year. I did Addams Family, Hairspray and 9 to 5. And it was brilliant. I learned so much. It was an adult company, so you had to be at least 16 to audition. So I was like the baby when I joined. And yeah, obviously doing things like dance and drama on Saturdays and stuff like that, like technique classes, is really, really good. But if before you start going to auditions, you can get a chunk of show experience in, that is really helpful, because you do just learn so much from actually being on a show, having to do tech rehearsals, having to go like 1 week to 1 week, remembering the dance routines. We spent 6 months rehearsing, so our rehearsal period would be September to sort of March time, 2 evenings a week, and then our show would be end of March, April. And again, I had the best time. And also in societies like this, it's people who have done it like their whole lives but just didn't want to pursue it as a career. And there's a lot of social elements around it. I made some really good friends at Pod who are still my friends now. Had a great time, and like I go back and see their shows, and just, yeah. If you're looking for drama schools, get some show experience. I think that's a really key piece of advice. Also, again, you do have to pay to join a society like that, but I know that ours did student discount. So when I was still a student, my membership fee was something like 20 quid a year. Like, it really wasn't. And then there was no show fee. Everything, you would raise money throughout the year, so you would do like little Christmas concerts and things like that to raise money, and then all the costumes, the set, the theatre hire and everything would be paid for. So yeah, for 20 quid, Pods was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I again learned so much, so many good experiences with them, and also had a really fun time at the after show parties. So we have now got to end of school gap year Matilda, 18, 19. When I was 18, I auditioned for 4 drama schools and did not get in anywhere. I auditioned for the ones that were mainly on UCAS, so it was places like GSA and London College of Music, stuff like that. Didn't get anywhere. I also applied for university courses in events management, because I thought that would be a good backup for me, because I love planning parties, I love hosting, and I got 3 offers to do that. But I think I knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, I don't want to plan the stage, I want to be on it. So I came to the decision that I wanted to have a gap year and try again. So that's what I did. On my gap year, I found out about things like Dada Awards, So that's the Dance and Drama Awards. If you Google Dada Awards, it will come up with a list of schools who offer them, so you can help pay for the tuition. So I was then like, right, okay, this has opened many more doors for me, and I applied for something like, I think I applied for over 10 schools. I think I had like maybe like 13 auditions. Like, I did a lot. In that 13, because I also had a little bit of a rocky patch with just mental health and anxiety and stuff like that in sort of at back end of sixth form gap year, I applied for theatre and performance courses at university, because I think I knew in my heart of hearts that musical theatre is what I wanted to do, but I think I also knew I wasn't ready for drama school yet. I think I knew that if I had gone to drama school at age 19, probably would have had a mental breakdown by Christmas. I don't think I was ready for the pressure. So I was offered 2 foundation years on my top choices. I was offered a foundation year at Trinity and a foundation year at Bird, and I couldn't afford either of them. Neither of them had student funding. I was feeling very anxious about just being in that kind of high pressure environment. I'd had lots of different stories about people who felt similar to me, just about sort of themselves as people, and just drama school had not gone well for them. So I made the decision that I was like, that was my dream at one point. It's no longer. I'm going to go and do theatre and performance at Leeds, University of Leeds. I'm going to learn to do everything, and then maybe we'll revisit musical theatre. That was the decision I came to, and now we're at age 19 and I'm packing my bags to go to Leeds. So little did 19-year-old Matilda know that that was the best decision she ever could have made. I actually get a little bit emotional. Oh my gosh, I loved my time at Leeds. I had the best 3 years. Right, so I'll talk about my course. So, theatre performance. I learned to do everything. I was directing, I was choreographing. Choreographing is kind of where I found my niche. I'm quite good at that. I really enjoyed that. I was singing and dancing. I was up rigging lights. I was doing theatre and education. I was doing bits of stand-up comedy. I was doing everything. I was writing essays as well, so I was doing all the academic side of it and learning about like the history of theatre, and I just had the best time. I enjoyed every single second. If you're looking for just a theatre course, because you want to do some practical, some academic, I cannot recommend Leeds enough. Leeds as a city as well is just sick. Oh my gosh, I had the best time. I had a bit of a rocky start, I did, but that was more of a me thing. But by the end of first year, I was off, I was flying. Oh, I loved it. I joined 2 brilliant societies. So I was part of Dance Expose, who did show work and also dance competitions. So I carried on dancing with them. I was doing ballet, tap, started doing like commercial and street, which was a crazy venture for me because I'd always been so classically trained. And I found my absolute best friends there. The girls in my vlog last week were all my Dance Expose friends. We were all freshers together. And I also joined Stage Musical Society and did full-scale shows with them. So I did things like Sweet Charity and Legally Blonde, and sort of was ensemble or a principal dancer for most of their shows. And again, I just had the best time. I spent 3 years figuring out who I was as a person, learning every inch of theatre I could, getting drunk, going out clubbing, which I think was something that I needed. I needed that kind of university experience. I needed to get out of my hometown, to take a step away from my parents as well. My parents are brilliant people. I love them to bits. My mum is literally like my best friend. But at age 19, I needed to have a bit of space and a bit of, right, who am I not living at home? I gained so much confidence from doing that course. I just did end up doing like some really crazy things. Like I gained so much confidence that I just booked a trip and went to Peru on my own. Like I just went traveling around the world, just like on my ones. It was crazy. I love Leeds. I love Leeds. I miss it so much. And because of all of that, and the person I then figured out who I was, the friends I met, and everything, I went into my final year knowing that I wanted to revisit musical theatre. I wanted to come back to that. I wanted to do a master's in it or a 1-year course at a drama school. And my lecturers and everything were very supportive. They helped me with my references, my personal statements and my monologues and things like that. And I went into those auditions, the confident young woman that I am now, knowing that I was good enough, and going in with that confidence really helped. And I was offered places at 3 out of 4 schools that I applied for. So yeah. Unfortunately, my time at Leeds was cut short because of Corona. I still technically have not graduated. I will get to a Leeds ball on the graduation at some point, but that's a whole nother story that I may or may not make a video on because it still kind of makes me angry. But yeah. All right. So I think that's pretty much everything. That's all the big things. That was my journey from them to now. I also, I'm grade 6 flute and grade 5 piano, so I was doing those lessons in amongst all the rest of it. I did a lot of other things as a kid, like I was a brownie and I would do swimming lessons and stuff like that, but by the time I think I hit like 13, everything had kind of narrowed down to musical theatre is really what I want to be doing. I was in a very lucky position that my parents loved musical theatre as well, and they were able to take me and my brother down to London to see shows. We didn't live too far away from London, like we could drive down for the day. So I was seeing shows in the West End from like age 5, I think. I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was my first show and I must have been 5 or 6, and then things like Mary Poppins and stuff like that. I hope that gives you some advice, some ideas, a bit of, if you're a bit stuck, of things to look at to help you improve and places to go. Look for your local amateur dramatic group. Look for BYMT audition. Look for your local dance school or your local drama Saturday morning thing. If it's something you want to go into and you're seriously considering it, or whether you just think it's really fun and you want to do more of it, those are all good places to start. And they're what started me off. And now I'm at the London School of Musical Theatre, pursuing my dreams. All right. Okay, follow my Instagram. Please like and subscribe to this video for more theatre-y content, for more London Live content. We're doing it all on here. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a lovely Wednesday evening. I hope we're still having a heat wave when this video goes out. All right, see you soon. Mwah. I need to get a tripod. Grab a cuppa, pull up a chair. Excuse me. People. Changed me. It was anyway. God, it's a blooming A1 here today.